Back live worldwide, ladies and gentlemen. The people are waking up across the planet. They will wake up to the fraud that is Glenn Beck. Remember a few years ago, Michael Reagan, the adopted son of Ronald Reagan, said, I will give you the bullets, I will give you the hand grenades, murder Mark Dice, murder 9/11 truthers. He said, I'm serious, call me, I want them murdered. He said that on 300 radio stations. That's okay. See, they can call for killing us, but then we say, we question 9/11, and Glenn Beck says we want to kill Obama. I mean, just totally insane. But it's not insane. That's been a talking point for 3 years, that we're violent and that we work for Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaeda. And so I think they're going to stage something. They've already tried with that case the New York Post ran, where the woman comes out of the dark alleyway with a girl in a wheelchair, and the man runs it in to Jeremy Tallis, and they charged him, and he brought in the Secret Service, and they said, no, he didn't. They attacked him. And the New York Post had to print a retraction. I mean, folks, we walk down the street and people come out of dark alleyways with girls in wheelchairs ramming them into us, going, he attacked me, he attacked me. I mean, they're trying to set us up. We're in danger. We need your prayers. And, you know, Michael Savage says that Obama will stage terror attacks. I mean, does he deserve to go to prison, according to Cass Sunstein at the White House? I mean, come on, folks, common sense. They've declassified, they stage a lot of these terror attacks. If they admit they've done it before and they stand to get power out of it, and they're using the entire 9/11 attack for Homeland Security to set up against gun owners, conservatives, libertarians, and veterans. Remember Glenn Beck when he did a show on MIAC and the Homeland Security Report? He said, let me read these out to you. And he said, oh, that sounds reasonable. That sounds reasonable. Well, I can see what the government's saying. I mean, I sat there and saw that. I mean, it's just, he is outrageous. Limbaugh and Savage came out and said it was horrible. Sounded like my show. I tuned into it. Not Beck. Man, I'm telling you, that guy is the real deal of tyranny. Benedict Arnold Glenn Beck. And we've got to expose him. I mean, when he starts saying that 9/11 truthers are going to murder Obama with no evidence, when they stage something, folks, you know. I can't believe it. Bobby in Texas. I'm going to your calls now. I know I said I'd take them. Bobby in Texas, you're on the air.
Thanks, Alex. How you doing today?
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. It's more than shook up. I'm just, every day it comes more and more clear just how serious this is.
Well, I'm feeling you, Alex. I'm feeling you that. Listen, I'd like to talk a little bit about Glenn Beck and then go into H1N1 if I have time.
Sure.
But I know the type of guy that Glenn Beck is, because I used to be just like him. I used to be a phony head Christian that my God was money, and the only result that I thought that was good was when I got more money or more people to I guess fake into thinking I'm right. You know what I mean? So if I had money in a big house, it just perpetuated me. But one day it came to an end, and I had to really look at who I was and what God I was following. And I'll tell you what. That would be the luckiest thing that happened to that guy, because I agree with you. He has been, and always, since I've seen him, there's always something wrong with him. I don't trust a word he says. When he goes out on a limb on something, there's always that partial truth to it, and then he adds that neocon type or flair to it. And anytime you talk about a neoliberal or a neocon, the first thing that goes in that is individuality. And it's always about empowering some larger source that controls, or a bank, or you know what I'm talking about, right?
He supported the banker bailout and then now says he was against it. I mean, he's a liar.
Oh, I know he's a flip-flopper. Trust me, I used to do that too. And at any point in time, something worked at my advantage, that's where I was at, So, yeah, I get what he's doing.
Well, stay there, Bobby. I want you to be able to finish up. We're going to Nathan, Lisa, Ross, Rudy. We're getting to everybody, but I want Bobby to be able to figure out. See, I've never understood that. Everybody else around me, most people, they do what advances them. I mean, don't think of myself as a good guy, but I do what's right because that's who I am. I don't control it. We're back live taking your phone calls. I'm going to play 10 minutes of a 20-something minute documentary. That guy's print off that YouTube page. I want to plug. People can go watch it as well about what big government does to people. This is unbelievable. But again, you look at it, that's the path we're marching down. It's a system where people in North Korea didn't even know there was a world outside. And all they thought about was food, and they were totally dependent. They were kept in cages, and then they would put a man and woman together for 5 days just so they would have a baby to be a slave in the state. This is worse than 1984, and this is what collectivism becomes every time. So that's coming up. Let's go ahead and go back to Bobby. So, but I mean, Bobby, the reason I have to go after Beck is he's not misguided. He, in a calculated way, knows exactly what he's doing. And to him, it's a psychopathic victory over conservatives, who I believe he really hates, that he's leading them into hell.
I completely agree with you. But the thing about, but remember, when you talk about conservatives, you're talking about the type of Goldwater conservatives, the people that really want our country to succeed and to have, you know, a freedom and to have financial success and not be led by corporations. And that's exactly what Glenn Beck is about. It's clear as day. And when you see a guy, or I don't know, whenever I talk to a fellow who, you know, proclaims to be this high and mighty, you know, I'm doing all this for God, and all he can talk about, well, let's just say the last thing he talks about is altruism and individuality. You know, you're dealing with somebody who does nothing but follows a false god, probably Roger Ailes or Rupert Murdoch, just like you said. I mean, I don't know if you read Larry Klayman's book on whores, and there's certain areas in there that talk about Roger Ailes and what he's about. I tell you what, that group of people, if that's what our country, if we were to follow the Fox News Network into that agenda, I don't know if it's any worse than the way Obama's going, because nobody's going to have.
Well, I mean, I want to be clear though. I mean, this isn't me. News Corp with Rupert Murdoch put out a 6-minute video saying they are pushing propaganda and bragging that they brainwash people in all their sitcoms, dramas, and movies for a global carbon tax. Absolutely. I mean, I told people 5 years ago that Rupert Murdoch was funding Hillary Clinton. They didn't believe it when it was even in the newspaper. I mean, I read his newspapers overseas. It's one message, and here it's another message. It's very calculating, very Machiavellian. It's all about betrayal, and I appreciate your call, Bobby. You made some great points. Again, and last night I woke up really not even upset. It was more than that. Just like, man, this is real. And I was like, God, what is it I'm supposed to do? And it was like, go after Glenn Beck. And because I hate talking about people. I don't like it. I mean, I don't even like making Obama the enemy or Bush the enemy. You know, they're puppets. I don't like the personality issues because that almost feeds into it. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about him. My way of really disliking him is to not talk about it and try to ignore it and like, no, don't show me that. No. I mean, I'll see articles that we post sometimes because I don't control my writers. I know they've got good brains and they basically do most of the posting and ideas themselves. But I will, see some new horrible thing he did and I'll not want to look at it. See, that's the problem, folks. I've got all this stuff I read. I'm angry about each article. And I genuinely, once a month or so, I'll be driving down the road and I'll think about the country and the innocence and how the CPS is taking people's kids and raping them. And I'll start crying, and not a sobbing cry. I can't even control it. Just tears start running out. And then I see Beck on his TV set. He even shows people this so they'll know he's fake, and on putting stuff in his eyes that makes him cry and getting into the fakeness of what we really should be crying for this country. He is a counterfeit, folks. He makes me sick. And I just asked God, I said, how do I keep him from taking my work and turning it into something evil? I mean, I feel dirty because I haven't been sophisticated enough to see this coming beforehand. I'm going to do the best I can and let God take over from there. But we've all got to individually do what we can. I'll be right back.